Successful failure. By the time I was 33 years old, I had enjoyed much success. I had a beautiful wife and 2 wonderful children. The Shenton Medical Group that I had founded was the largest medical group in all of Singapore. I had even represented my country in playing tennis. However, I felt very empty in my heart. I found no human explanation for this because I had so much success and had no problems. At that time, I didn't realize that I, as a human, had a spiritual nature that could not be satisfied by worldly success. In other words, though I was fully satisfied physically and mentally, I was empty spiritually. I was like a person who had everything that he could desire except food to satisfy his empty stomach. I tried to satisfy my emptiness by accumulating more and more worldly treasures. I got houses, cars, paintings, and even a 14-meter motorboat. I traveled. I tried all types of pleasures and hobbies. I smoked, I drank alcohol, and I gambled. But my empty spirit could not be satisfied by all of these. I was like a fool, trying to fill an empty stomach with pieces of gold and silver instead of food. At that time, I did not know that only God could fill my empty spirit. As it is easy for a doctor to obtain sleeping pills, I began to take them each night. My wife then realized that I was becoming an addict and began to keep the pills from me. I was desperate. I didn't know what to do. I had become successful in so many things that didn't matter, but wasn't successful in the things that did. Outwardly, I looked happy, but I was really a 33-year-old successful failure. The world is full of such people. They are admired by most people. They pretend to be happy. And many people, like you, are deceived and aim to be like them. A good definition of a failure is one who succeeds in things that don't matter. Don't be a failure. Chapter 2. Religion Cannot Satisfy. I had tried every worldly way to be happy, but failed. So I figured out that maybe religion would help me to fill my empty spirit. I was born in a Christian family. I went to church from childhood. I attended the finest Christian school in Singapore, the Anglo-Chinese school. At school, I heard Bible devotions daily on the intercom and attended weekly chapel. I attended religious knowledge classes and did well in this subject. After I became a teenager, I got bored with religion and stopped attending church. However, I still considered myself to be a Christian, though I only attended church on special occasions like Christmas and Easter. At the age of 30, I had found no satisfaction in my Christian faith, so I decided to study other religions. I bought religious books. I sought religious teachers. I tried to obey what these religions taught me to do. I soon realized that most religions taught similar values. Be humble, be kind, help the poor, be faithful to attend religious services. My friends noticed that I was no more seeking material success and self-pleasure, but had become a serious religious person who spent time reading religious books and helping the poor. They said that I was now a good man. This made me feel worse because I now felt like a hypocrite because I knew that though I had changed outwardly, in my heart I was still the same proud, selfish person. I knew that though people were impressed with my outward change, God looked at my heart and saw the same ugly heart in me. I realized that I could easily impress people by being religious, but I could not impress God. I had hoped to find satisfaction in religion, but I felt emptier. If you think that Christianity is a religion, you too will find only emptiness. Chapter 3. A KTP Christian. At the age of 33, I had to be admitted to a hospital for a minor operation. In the bedside cupboard was a Bible. Out of boredom, I decided to read the Bible. I had not read a Bible for many years. I cannot remember all the details of what happened because it was such a long time ago, but I will try to recall as much as possible. I opened the Bible to the book of John, probably because it was a familiar book. And I began to read, and by the time I finished chapter 3, my life was changed. I'm writing this book 35 years later, and the changes that happened that day have continued until today, and will continue through all eternity. Please read the following verses, because they are so important to many of us who think that we are going to heaven. John chapter 3, verses 1 to 5. As I read John chapter 3, verse 1, I could identify with Nicodemus. He was proud to be a Jew because his ancestors had worshipped God for many generations. I too was proud because I came from a Christian family. He was proud that he was a Pharisee because the Pharisees were respected as Bible scholars. I too was proud because I went to the top Christian school in Singapore and we were respected as the Christian elite of Singapore. He was proud to be a religious leader of the Jews. I too was proud that my uncle was the leader of the Christian community in Singapore. Nicodemus had seen Jesus' many miracles and was sure that he was sent from God. As he was confident that he too belonged to God, he confidently went to meet Jesus. John chapter 3, verse 2, expecting a hearty welcome from him. To his dismay, Jesus rebuked him with these words, "Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." John chapter 3, verse 3. He had come to bring greetings to Jesus, but was confronted with these seemingly rude words. Needless to say, Jesus, who is the perfect, sinless Son of God, never uttered any rude words in his life. On the contrary, these seemingly rude words came from Jesus' heart of love and was meant to shock Nicodemus and help him to realize that he was merely a KTP Christian. As Nicodemus was probably about 60 years old at this time, he replied with these words, "How can a man be born again when he is old?" John chapter 3, verse 4. He expected Jesus to back down and apologize, but instead Jesus replied with greater emphasis that unless Nicodemus was born again, he could not enter the kingdom of God. John chapter 3, verse 5. As Nicodemus was shocked by these words uttered 2,000 years ago, I too was shocked by these words when I read it 35 years ago. If super-religious Nicodemus could not enter the kingdom of God unless he was born again, then how could I? Can any of you be more religious than Nicodemus? If we cannot enter the kingdom of God, then we will go to hell.